We are back. New York City Baseball, past, present, future. I'm Ralph Tyko of the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. The two mavens of New York baseball are here, Marty Rose and Robert Deininger. Oh, my God, it's been many talkings this morning, and so please excuse me. Marty and Robert, welcome.
Thank you, Ralph. Glad to be here.
Thanks, Ralph.
Yeah, we got kind of a spontaneous show going, only because it is being recorded right between games, and I'm going to put it up right after we're through. Last night the Yankees stayed alive, and today they want to continue to stay alive. So let's start with the celebrate. There's a word for it. You're celebrating, aren't you, Robert? You got to the playoffs, and
yeah.
Start with you, Robert Deininger.
Yeah. Didn't expect to make the postseason, but I am thrilled that we did. And after my New York Giants loss yesterday, I was completely in an awful mood. And thank God the Yankees won last night. They turned out pretty good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You're talking to two people whose moods have been affected by the outcome of their teams on many an occasion over the last, say, 60, 70 years. Right, Mert?
Pretty close there, Ralph.
Yeah. So we feel for you. I wish Marty and I had teams that we really cared about. I mean, not that we don't care about the Yankees, but I envy your position being in the playoffs. I think about it when they have Judge and Sanchez, both second-year guys, second-year guys, in their lineup. This is the start of something. They can build around this and stay incredibly powerful for a long time.
Yeah, and they got kids that are going to be coming up, like Torres, who's their number one prospect. I mean, people rave about him. And then, of course,
right.
Clint Frazier. I mean, they got guys after guys after guys expecting to come up next year. So this is just
and you know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping to get some health from Hicks.
Yeah, Hicks is he's done pretty good so far this postseason. He's driven in 4 runs, got a couple home runs. He's been doing pretty good since he's come back. But
yeah,
I would like to see more going forward next season.
Yeah, I don't want to have to think of him as, that awful B word, brittle.
Yeah, he does seem to be on the DL quite a bit.
Quite a bit, but then again, so is Bird, and Bird has come back and been miraculous.
He had the big hit yesterday, and Miller had only given up 1 home run to a lefty all year long, and Joe left him in there to face him, and he put it out there.
Right.
Big hit by Bird.
Do you think Joe's gaffe will cost him his job?
Buster Only reported today that the Yankees are considering parting ways with him.
Oh, wow! It's like one little moment in loss of concentration. Whatever it was, did he explain it in a post game?
Yeah, and it didn't really make sense. The hit by pitch, which the bench coach or the hitting coach was pleading with him to challenge, but his excuse was he didn't want to go out there and throw off the pitcher's timing by waiting on a replay. That was his excuse. And in a game like that, you got to challenge that.
You you got to challenge it. No question that you have to challenge
Yeah.
it. Only because it was pretty obvious. It wasn't something that it was obvious from the angle that I saw it in live.
Yeah, it hit the knob and went right into the glove of Sanchez.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, guy hits a home run.
Whoa.
So that was a
okay.
big
I'll ask you
point.
this right off the top of my head. Say they don't bring him back. Who do you think, A, they will, and B, they should?
Oof. And that's the conundrum.
Could be the same guy.
I like Willie Randolph. I think he got a raw deal in New York with the Mets, a little. But
well, okay, Murr, you were in New York when Willie Randolph was the manager, and Omar Minaya was the general manager at a Newtown High School alum.
That is true.
You and I. Only you and Omar went to class. Paid attention. There was a big difference there between alums sometime. I did go to lunch.
And Jim.
And Jim with Mr. Bowers, right, who called us schmageggies.
Or Lavelle.
Not just us. Called everybody a schmageggy. You schmageggies. He had been there like 45 years. No exaggeration. That was, I don't know where that came from, right off the top of my XGI head.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Mert, you tell me about Willie Randolph's shortcomings and his attributes, please.
Well, I mean, any guy that's a former player on a winning team, knows what it takes to win. And, I think he did a pretty good job. I mean, they finished pretty high up the years that he was there. I mean, they may not have won anything, but I really don't recall any serious problems that they had when he was there.
Didn't he get a lot of slack for leaving Tom Glavine in too long in that one game that cost him a chance to go to the postseason? Or am I thinking of another manager?
I think
I don't remember that
after him.
Particular.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I thought he got a raw deal for sure, especially the way they let him go. But yeah, and getting back to Girardi, I mean, he has been there for 10 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
And 6
plus the fact,
appearances.
Yeah. Plus the fact that he, I mean, if you look at the parallel, like to 1995, when they had all these up-and-coming kids, and they lost in the playoffs, I think, to Seattle that year. And
yeah.
They fired Showalter right at that time. So there could be a lot of things similar, where they let the manager go, they lose in the playoffs, and they got a lot of up-and-coming kids coming in.
Right.
It could be something similar there. But,
yeah.
Who they would hire as manager, I don't know whether they have anybody already working for them that they would promote, or they would go outside, for somebody like Gardenhire or something.
I heard
like that.
Heard that name too. Yeah.
So
I heard. I didn't hear, but I would think that the Mets would be interested in Gardenhire.
Well, I haven't heard his name for the Mets. I've heard the latest one is Brad Ausmus, who was just let go by Detroit. They said that the Mets spoke to him. The other names we had mentioned before seem to have whittled down a little bit. I think Alex Cora is still a candidate. Joe McEwing, and maybe Robin Ventura, and now Brad Ausmus. So, and this Alex Cora, he's bilingual, which always helps, especially in the Cespedes situation. But that's still up in the air. So.
That's a very, very, very good point in communicating with Latin players. And the mention of Willie Randolph got me thinking of just how few black players there are, African Americans, playing, and how incredibly few black managers have come into the game since the early 60s, when Jackie Robinson was pleading baseball to hire a black manager himself, perhaps, rather than these old guys who have gotten 2, 3, 4 chances. Davy Bristol comes to mind, and what have you, failed 2 or 3, 4 times, and because of the buddy system, kept getting jobs, and how baseball has really dropped the ball.
Ralph, I think the best
African American community.
The best black athletes are going to the NFL and the NBA. That's been going on for years.
Right.
So there's just not that many guys that actually go in for baseball in the first place. Another reason is all the years you got to spend in the minors. Where in basketball and football, you're right up immediately. You're in the pros, making a lot of money.
And semi-pro ball in basketball, college, has become a one and out situation.
Right.
So these guys can come out of high school, spend a year or two in college, and boom, they're making big money. Whereas coming up in the minors is a 4, 5, 6, 7 year process sometimes.
And a grind. Making bupkis also at the time.
Oh, absolutely. Unless you're a high round draft choice, in which case it's the opposite. They give the high round draft choice enough money to de-incentify him for the rest of his life in anything he wanted to go into. I mean, how would you like to, either of you guys would have liked to start your life with $1.5 million in the bank? Just or probably much more than $1.5 million. I'm going by the last outrageous figure I heard that a first round draft choice is slotted for.
Yeah, for bonus money. Yeah, these guys, they get bonus money to sign plus the salary. So.
Yeah, the minor league salary, as you say, working your way up, isn't very much, but it's that bonus money. So the game and the fiscal part has been so turned around, and I know it doesn't encourage a player to learn the little things about the game, about advancing the runner, hitting to right, when to take a pitch, that kind of thing. All they're looking for, basically, the product has become the home run. How far you can hit the ball, or how fast you can throw the ball. The radar gun up on the scoreboard, I don't think that helps the game.
Either do I.
No.
So, Robert, what do you think of tonight's game?
I think Severino's going to have a good game today. I really do. I think he's going to pitch very well. Following Tanaka yesterday pitched a gem. I thought he should have been pitching game 2 with Sabathia pitching game 1.
Right.
But I liked Severino tonight.
I don't want to look ahead No, I won't even ask the question, what if? Let's just take one game at a time.
Yeah.
How about that? And not go home. I think that's the goal.
He's got to get over his nerves, Severino.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know he's better than what he looked like the
yeah.
We know that.
Well, of all the Yankee pitchers, he and Tanaka definitely have the best stuff.
Yeah, and he's pitching at home tonight, so maybe he'll be a little bit more calm.
Yeah, when Tanaka gets his rest, enough rest or even an extra day, he's great.
And he seems to step up in big games.
Yeah. Like somebody was pointing out last night on the broadcast, you don't see that many guys throwing the splitter anymore. And his is great. He's got a great one. So, when everybody was throwing them, they were more used to, the batters were more used to seeing them, and they're, like, not seeing them as much because less guys are throwing them nowadays.
And thankfully, Sanchez didn't have any pass balls last night. That hurt them.
Right.
But speaking of managers...
That is really a great point, Marty. Any trend... If you can buck whatever trend is going on, because, this works for one person. Everybody tries it. And that works. Everybody tries it.
Yeah.
So bucking the trend makes an awful lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Anything new on the Mets, Marty?
It's been pretty quiet.
Hearing that may be announced after the series. There's I know they can't talk legally, can't talk to anybody who's still in the series.
Right.
So that probably has a lot to do with the silence. But there are rumors. Do you hear of any rumors going around along those lines?
For manager?
Yeah.
Just the ones that I mentioned before.
Okay.
McEwing, Cora, Ventura, and they just spoke to Ausmus since he was let go a couple of days ago. So.
I also heard of Chip
Who would you prefer, Marty? Who would you prefer?
Well, who knows how these guys would do? I mean, I really don't know. I'm sure the fans would like Robert Ventura, but I don't know. Maybe Alex Cora would be the right choice because he's pretty well respected and is bilingual. And I think Ventura is the only one that's had. Well, Ausmus and Ventura out of the four are the two that have managed before. So.
Thinking back, Alex Cora was a very highly regarded draft choice, made the major leagues. He was out of Vanderbilt. And you got to have some seichel to get into Vanderbilt.
Yeah, sure.
And bilingual. He's my choice based on that. So
he played a lot of years.
But I'd like to see Ventura too. Ventura, he was a former Met. He has some managerial experience. I think they're maybe more apt to go with that because I don't think Cora's managed. Certainly in the majors, I don't think he's managed in the minors. Could be wrong on that.
I don't think so either.
It's not something a lot of highly qualified guys who are set for life, money-wise, want to do, get on the buses and work their way up. It's a hard job to recruit for when you're recruiting these guys. So things have changed in baseball. Used to be that's how managers made made their way up, made their bones, so to speak, in the organization, and were hired from the minor league system. And you don't see that much anymore.
Tony La Russa strongly endorsed Chip Hale for Mets manager. So for whatever that's worth. It just came out.
He was the bench coach out here in Oakland once or twice. He may be again. He was the bench coach with the Twins. I think he might have managed the Twins.
John Heyman also reported that Kevin Long was also in consideration.
You said that for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Did you not? Is he in consideration for the Mets too?
Yeah, it's what John Heyman reported today.
He's the Mets hitting coach. He still is. So,
right.
Yeah. So,
another guy with a big swing, a long swing that with a lot of holes in it. But he's a pretty good outfielder. Played with the A's too out here. Interesting to see what happens in the off season. And I want to wish you good luck tonight, Robert, with your team.
Yes, thank you.
I've got a Yankee hat on right now.
I was going to say,
scratching myself. I should get other garb too to go with the Yankee hat. I feel silly, and go ahead.
That one person who I think could be a good manager, or at least a hitting coach, is Alex Rodriguez. He's helped Gary Sanchez and Aaron Judge this year, help them get out of their slump, and he just loves talking baseball. And Greg Burt says the best advice he ever gotten was from Alex Rodriguez. I think he could. Yeah, he knows his stuff.
Did you guys see them on the post-game show on Fox Sports 1 last night?
No.
I did.
Those guys were really good, very entertaining. Kevin Burkhardt was the moderator, more or less. They had Alex Rodriguez. They had Keith Hernandez. They had Big Papi. And
what a panel!
And the big guy from the White Sox from years ago. His name is
Frank Thomas.
Frank Thomas.
Yeah, Frank Thomas. All those guys were on the panel. They were good, very good.
Wow.
Very entertaining. So.
Very interesting. Does Papi have a grasp of the English language?
Very good. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah.
Good.
You wouldn't have known it before if you hadn't seen him, on TV. But yeah,
right.
he's very good, 100% English. Yeah. Excellent.
Hey, while we're talking, hats off to the Red Sox, who were competitive this year without Papi.
Yeah. Very surprising.
They got leadership from within. Must have come from the likes of Pedroia. But that's terrific. You got it.
Yeah.
Hats off. Hats off to the teams like the Yankees who rebuild on the fly. Who, we have a 5-year. We're in the 6th year of a 5-year rebuilding program, and we're going to finish 7th in a division of 5. I give the Red Sox, I give the Yankees. I mean, they spend a lot of money. It's the old joke. You make a lot of money, you spend a lot of money. They bring in a lot of television money. Let's face it, when it comes down to that money gets rotated around. You build a good team, there's more television money. You spend some of that television money in building a better team, and then, you know what I'm saying. And I will have to say the Mets under the Wilpons, I call them Wilponzi, have just simply not been successful. And Steinbrenner was what he was as a human. He's gone a long time. His kids have taken over. they win. I wish the Mets had the Steinbrenners, and the Yankees had a bag of old balls and some rosin like the Mets have. Because if you're going to start all over again now to build, we're getting a little older. We can't stand these rebuilding programs. We'd like some instant wins.
Now, you got to hand it to Cashman. I don't know if anybody really expected, after dumping all the veterans, that they knew the guys that were getting back, or were good or going to be good. But I don't think they expected these guys to come into their own so quickly. That's kind of shocking, the way they came together.
Whatever success the Mets have had in the past 2 or 3 years, and they did win a division, and they did go on to win a World Series, to be in the World Series, if I'm not mistaken. Did I blank there? But you got to give Alderson some credit too, even though he hasn't had the dramatic success that Cashman has had. He has had to go to the bank with Wilpon, squeezing money out of him, and his idiot son, to get anything that they can when they could. Cespedes is a good example, and Cespedes fell into their lap, basically.
They had no choice; they had to sign him. Or the fans would have revolted.
Exactly, and at times he's been revolting, and those times when he pulls a hamstring every Tuesday. So hopefully he admitted that he wasn't training. We talked about this in a previous show, that he wasn't training up to his potential, say. And hopefully it's not just words. Can he do something about it? Does he have the discipline? Because he's already got the money. That's the de-incentivier, if you will, for these guys. I think that the big money up front, and we talked about this earlier in the show, takes away from the product on the field. That's all.
Somewhat.
Not a right or wrong.
You got to be less hungry. Yeah, no question.
Absolutely. You know how many years Maury Wills spent in the minors before Bobby Bragan made him a switch hitter? 9 minor league seasons.
9? Really?
9.
Wow. Yes.
Wow. And he changed Maury Wills, this is a little off the subject, changed the course of my life, because Topps baseball cards was in the habit back in Maury Wills' days of putting players under contract, so when they make the majors, they have their permission to use their picture on cards, to only the players that the scouts, Topps would hire scouts to determine who was going to make the majors. And they go around the minors and sign the players to Topps contracts, the players that they thought would be in the majors. Well, Maury Wills couldn't hit a lick for a long time, and the Topps scouts overlooked him. He felt snubbed by Topps, didn't get signed to a contract, and when he made the major leagues, wouldn't sign a contract. So his didn't have a Topps contract until he went to Pittsburgh. Never had a Topps card with the Dodgers. So, and here's my point. Topps decided that instead of having scouts sign everybody, having scouts sign only the ones they think will make it, thereby people are human. You make mistakes, misjudgments. You hurt people's feelings. They got in the habit of signing everybody in the minors to contracts. So I read this, and I wrote Cy Berger, the late Cy Berger, a letter. He's the head of Topps. He was the guy who put bubble gum with baseball cards in the 50s. And I wrote him a letter, and I told him that I have the public relations qualifications, the communique. I could communicate this, that, and the other thing. And gave him my experience. I was in the insurance business. And he wrote back. He says, hang tight. We'll get back to you. And one day he did. And I got to go to for 13 years in the 80s and 90s, I went to the California League and the Northwest League, way up in Oregon and Washington, and signed players to their Topps contracts. And got to meet old coaches, old guys coaching in the minors and managing, who we would remember, Marty. Marv Grissom,
sure.
I got to meet, and
sure.
a whole bunch of other people that we grew up following as kids. So it was my fantasy camp every summer, and they paid me, and they paid my per diem, and
nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I just flashed on Maury Wills, and my mind went off, and so did my mouth. Thank you, Maury Wills. We'd love to have him as a guest on the network sometime. There you go.
All right.
Some Ralphie chit-chat. Robert, thanks for your insight to the Yankees. I wish you luck tonight. Mert, it's always a pleasure chatting with you. Has been since the second grade. Miss Ross did something right.
There you go.
You remember her too, don't you?
Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah. Did she live in your building? Our building?
I don't think she lived in my building. She lived in right around the corner, I think. Possibly the building on Northern between 90th and 91st, maybe.
Right.
Oh, that's a long time ago, man.
Well, she
sure
played
she
the piano. She played the piano, and we weren't a musical family, so that would lighten up my day. I mean, wow, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good memories.
Yep.
Good luck tonight, Robert, and stay safe. Regards to Peg, Mert, and you to your mom, Robert.
Thank you.
All right.
I will.
Be well, both of you. I'm going to put this up this afternoon, so we'll get a little on-the-spot reporting of the playoff situation. See you soon, guys.
Okay.
Take care.
All right.
Good. Adios, everybody. Keep on keeping on. Bye.